New today, President Trump says the man accused of trying to storm the ballroom at the White House Correspondents' Dinner had written about administration officials. That suspect, who Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche says is not cooperating with investigators, is expected to face criminal charges Monday from the DOJ. Let's bring in Virginia Congressman Suhas Subramaniam of the Oversight Committee. Congressman, welcome. I'm glad to have you here and to see you well because you were at that dinner last night. So first, tell me what you saw and heard.
Well, I arrived late, actually, and so I gave my ticket. I walked through the lobby above, one floor above where the ball was happening, and then I walked down an escalator. And at the bottom of an escalator, I started seeing security with assault rifles in their hand running and telling people to take cover. And so that's exactly what I did. And then eventually was able to find another room with other folks and get out to the exit and outside the building. So, you know, when you see something like that, you're not sure if it's real. That was my reaction. But certainly, as we started to understand what was unfolding, it was a very stressful situation for a lot of people and scary. But I'm glad everyone's safe. And I'm thankful for law enforcement for being there so quickly.
My goodness, that is unnerving, that arrival that you had. So I spoke with Kerry Kennedy, of course, RFK's daughter, a bit earlier today, and she was at the event. And speaking of unnerving, she recalled the terror. Here it is.
So we were standing at the table next to the door, and we heard this big bang. And then suddenly people started yelling, "Get down, get down, get down." And so I immediately laid down, and my head was on the lap of a Boston Globe journalist, and my knees were on a United States senator. And then Jamie just used his whole body to shield me like the hero that he is. And he kept whispering, "You're okay, you're okay, you're okay."
Congressman, the Jamie that she is referring to is Congressman Jamie Raskin. And given what happened to her father and her uncle, last night was very meaningful for her. And yet, if you hear President Trump talk about last night and say earlier today certain words, it's as if he's, you know, kind of moved on, talking a lot about now his ballroom. That would appear to some as a disconnect. How do you see it?
I see it as, you know, the president, again, sort of not understanding the mood in the room and the situation. He has been through a few of these already. Perhaps he didn't see this as much of a threat to him as others may see it. But the reality is, regardless, we saw a gunman get through security dangerously close to a lot of very critical people to our country. And I wouldn't want to see that again. This is something we need to investigate. This is something we need to look into. I know the Oversight Committee has asked for a briefing, and I'd like to do more when it comes to investigating political violence generally. We can't be desensitized to this at this point. We cannot let it be the norm or acceptable in any sort of way. So I would like to see Congress do something. I'd like to see us hold hearings on this and create policy to see what we can do to at least lower the temperature and hopefully end this violence.
You know what you just said? You said that the president, he's seen this before. How wild is that? I mean, why are we seeing this level of violence, political or otherwise, in this country? That you say the president's seen this before. He has. This is the third time around.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things being so heated, as well as the ability to get firearms in the first place, and a combination of seeing other people in the news do it as well. I think all of these factors play a role in what we are seeing today on a regular basis. And you know, people should not forget what happened last year with the Minnesota lawmakers, with Charlie Kirk. It's happening on both sides of the aisle. So to blame one side or the other is wrong. It's incorrect, factually incorrect, and morally incorrect. So moving forward, we need to come together as a country and solve this and figure it out. I don't want people not wanting to go into public service because it's a threat to their life.
Investigators, as you know, are working to determine a motive in this case. And you have Acting AG Todd Blanche, who says that a preliminary review shows members of the administration, and likely including the president, were the target. Do you agree with your fellow Congressman Ro Khanna, who says there should be a bipartisan commission on political violence in the wake of this shooting? And if so, what do you think one might accomplish?
I absolutely agree with it. I think it's a great idea. It's one that is long overdue. And what it could accomplish is taking the politics out of these incidents, looking at them with a clear eye, and figuring out how we're going to move forward and what we're going to do about it. Is more security needed? I saw a lot of security that night, and I'll tell you that there were hundreds of law enforcement and Secret Service. So I don't know if it's just a matter of money and investing more in security. Is it a matter of what's going on social media? Is it a matter of what's going on in the halls of Congress? We have to figure out what's going on, and we have to solve it. And so doing it in a bipartisan way will make sure that there's consensus around it, and we can actually solve this problem.
Congressman Suhas Subramanian, thank you so much for coming on and talking about your experience. I still can't envision you coming down the escalator and seeing a bunch of security running with long guns. Good grief. All right, sir. Thank you so much for your time.